Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In order to understand some concepts or the dynamics of the situation, you first have to get used to the terminology. So you have to understand what certain terms mean. And sometimes if people like to be more, how should I put it, evasive or not so clear, they use euphemisms. So you have to pay attention and learn what euphemisms used by these guys really mean in, in real life, in the situation that you're about to analyze. In this case, during these 2 years of Ukraine war, I learned some euphemisms or terms both sides use for certain events that occur on the front. For instance, the Ukrainians, the media, and the politicians, the spokespeople, when they have to report some, let's say, Russian victories, or somewhere where the Russians are advancing and they are losing, they usually use the term the situation is dynamic or it is tensed, but under control. When you hear this kind of words, you kind of understand that the situation over there is bad and these guys probably are 3 times ahead of what these guys are saying. So when they say when the Russians advanced 1 meter, probably the Russians advanced 3 meters. Or when the Ukrainians say we advanced 3 meters, probably they advanced only 1 meter, if at all. I have here an article with a Russian missile attack on Kharkiv/Kharkov. When the Russians are attacking or launching missile or drone attacks on Ukraine, usually the term is the term they use or the terminology they use to tell you how ineffective the Russians were. The Russians did not hit military targets. They were unsuccessful, but some debris of the drones or missiles that were hit in the air just fell and damaged some structures. And by the reporting, you think, that's nothing. But then the next day, or even later in the day, they tell you that, 5 oblasts remained without electricity due to the attack. So they told you the debris fell, nothing, and then they tell you 5, 6, 7 oblasts remain without electricity. That tells me those power stations or whatever the Russians intended to hit were hit. So you have to understand that. Now, we have here, I think, the same kind of example where we have Kharkov being under Russian missile attack, and they had a big power shortage in the area. Besides, they have an forced evacuation of the area of Kharkiv, about 47 settlements. Let me show you. I will show you the map, and I will show you some articles here. And we'll see how big, what the hell is going on here? Too much cock last night? Jesus Christ. All right. Excusez-moi. Ukrainska Pravda. 24th of April 2022. Power supply shortage. More than 200,000 consumers remain without electricity. Now, 200,000 consumers are not 200,000 people. A consumer is where the electricity comes from, whomever distributes it, to a location. So in your house, you're one consumer. But let's say you have a family of, 10 people or 7 people. So that's 7 people, 1 consumer. Let's say, what the hell is going on here? So, when you have, let's say, a business with, 200 offices, 200 people, whatever, that's one consumer, even though the business has so many. So when you see 200,000 consumers, 200,000 locations, so that could be more than 200, not could be, certainly there are more than 200,000 people affected in Kharkov. So let's go back to the article and see what other details they give us. Due to the damage to power facilities, so they recognize the power facilities were successfully hit, the energy system has been experiencing electricity shortages throughout the day, with 207,000 consumers in Kharkiv Oblast without power due to consumption restrictions. So it's the whole oblast. Ukraine's national power transmission system operator, Ukrenergo, said, and I'm quoting, "Consumption restrictions are in place throughout the day in Kharkiv Oblast. As for this morning, about 207,000 household consumers are without power. Consumption for industry in Kryvyi Rih is also restricted around the clock," the report says. In Odessa Oblast, there was another attack by the Russians. A morning attack damaged some of the equipment of the local state-owned power distribution company. We don't know yet how many were affected. Some consumers in one of Odessa's districts were cut off from electricity. Repairs are underway. Due to severe weather, 23 settlements in Khmelnytsky Oblast were cut off from power in the morning. For other reasons, 400 settlements remain without power in the morning. Again, severe weather. It is April, almost May. Okay, whatever. Remember, Khmelnytsky is the place where the Ukrainians intend to use, I think they have 2 airfields that could be fit to be used for F-16s. But I don't think the F-16s will be ever taking off from Ukrainian airfields. I am 99% certain that the F-16s will not take off from Ukrainian airfields or land on Ukrainian airfields. They will take off and land in Poland and Romania. And Russia said clearly, we're gonna hit wherever they take off and wherever they land. We don't care where that is. We'll see, right? There are power outages in Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Sumy and Kharkiv Oblast due to hostilities. So that tells me there was a major missile attack on this, but I couldn't find any more information on that. So remember, Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Sumy, we're going to look over this, and Kharkiv. Previously, overhead power lines were damaged and some residents of that city were left without electricity due to the morning missile attack on Odessa on 24th of April. So let me show you the map. And we're going to go to Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Mykolaiv first. Kharkiv, Kharkov, right here. Sumy, right here. Then you got Dnipropetrovsk, right here. Then you got Mykolaiv here. You got Odessa here. And I don't know if it was Kherson, I didn't hear Kherson, but we got Khmelnytsky, which is right here north of Bukovina, Romania. This is right here, Chernobyl is right here. So this is Khmelnytsky, this is where the airfield for the F-16s are prepared. That's why when you hear the Russians are hitting over there, that's what they do. So these are the ones. Did I miss any other names here? Mykolaiv, Odessa, Sumy, Donetsk. I don't think I showed that, but Donetsk is very clear. It's in this area here, Donetsk. Who else? Sumy, I said. Kharkiv, I said. Khmelnytsky, I said. Now, let's go back to, so they basically hit all this front line here, including Khmelnytsky. Let's go to the Ukrinform, and we are told that Kharkov, which is right here, the one with 200,000 consumers, more than 200,000, so that's Kharkov. So Kharkiv region announces, this is from the 11th, so now we're on 24th. I sat on it because I said, I'm waiting. Why? Because the Russians probably are advancing, that's why you evacuate. Kharkiv region announces forces evacuation of families with children from 47 frontline settlements. Remember, when they evacuate, that means the line of contact is right here. The Russians hit across, the Ukrainians hit across or try to destroy. When the Russians are able to destroy everything here, then they move with the troops. And when they move the troops, the line of contact moves obviously westward. And then they're going to move their installations a little bit closer. When they move the installation, that means they are able to hit again deeper into Ukraine. So then you have to evacuate these guys, and these guys where the Russian troops are coming. So again, you have to understand the terminology. When I say where they evacuate, that means someone is coming. Some missiles. Why now? Because the front moves towards you, or the Russians are coming. There's no other reason. You don't tell me after 2 years of hostilities, now you decide to move. After 2 years? I mean, it's not impossible, but you don't go by this kind of alternative hypothesis that is really illogical. But you take it into consideration. So let's see what this guy said. The Kharkiv Regional Defense Council has adopted a decision on the forced evacuations of families with children from 47 settlements, blah, blah, blah. What if those guys don't want to leave because they wait for the Russians? Let's say they are with the Russians. I don't want to go. I'm waiting for my brothers. You're going to get a bullet in your back of the head. That's what you're going to get. Forced evacuation. What if I'm a free person? Am I not? Well, it's an order. No, you're not a free person. The social contract. All right, so let's go to the next thing here, which is they tell us about the Kharkov. The city itself has a population of 1,421,125. So there's 1.5 million almost. So it's bigger than Estonia and Latvia probably. And almost 1 million short of Lithuania, something like that. But no, I think it's bigger than Estonia. Estonia has about 800,000, if I remember correctly, or something like that. Doesn't really matter. So the point is, people evacuate out of this. Strangely enough, I didn't hear anything about any advance here in Kupiansk, where this seemed to be the next one is going to be attacked, or at least the Russian troops will get close. I haven't heard anything about it. The problem is, the Russians attacked, how many oblasts? Were about 7 oblasts without electricity. What was it? Let me go back here. The first article, right at the end. So it was Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa, Sumy, Kharkiv, 6. Plus, they say Khmelnytsky, which we know, it was just bad weather. I don't buy that shit. But nevertheless, so 7 oblasts without electricity, or at least there are power outages due to hostilities. Okay. Unfortunately, we'll see what's going on. So here is the latest from I would say, massive missile and drone, but I couldn't find anything about it in all the media that I was checked. Maybe there are right now, but while I'm doing this, but I suspect not, because right now over there it's afternoon. So they had time to put together, how do you call it, a narrative. I just checked my sources here and I couldn't find anything so far. Like, hey, they usually do it in the morning, they didn't now. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.